Okay, cool. So we have the candles in place now. So the next thing we're going to add is we're going to add in some lighting and we're going to add in some fog. So now what I'm wondering about here is if I do a fog box, then it's going to have fog just inside that. But you could say it goes around the whole scene. However, at the back of the scene here we have these windows. And so I'll show you what happens. Basically, if I don't put a fog box on, the fog's going to keep going, you know, I was going to say indefinitely, but it's not really indefinitely because it's max. It doesn't look that far, but it will go to the horizon kind of thing, and it'll have a lot of fog going on there. So we'll have blockage outside this window. And if I do a fog box, I can say, okay, just be inside this room, and then the fog will end where I end the box. And so beyond that, there's not going to be any fog, and we'll still get the light coming in and hitting the window. But we can look at the difference that's going to make in a second. So first of all, just to set up fog. Fog's very easy to set up, but it does add quite a bit of time to your rendering. And so normally, if you want the fog to be really smooth, then yeah, it's going to take quite a bit of time added in there. So normally what I will do is I'll do them as separate passes, and I'll do back to beauty rendering, back to beauty compositing, sorry, which is where you take each of the different render elements and put them together. And that way I can then add in fog at the end, and then I can blur it a little bit, and I can get rid of the noise. I can just run noise on that render element and then get rid of the excess noise in there. That's the way I do it. So to start with, let's just get the fog being added. So you just press 8 or come up here to rendering and go to environment, and that'll open this up. And then what you want to do is you want to come down here and you go down to atmosphere and you just click add here, and you've got V-Ray environment fog. Don't grab fog, don't grab volume fog, just go V-Ray environment fog. And then that opens up all of these settings down here. So this is on active, and we have various things here which we want to change. So, alright, so the first thing is we've got this fog color which is grey, greyish, and there's no reason for that. You can just push this all the way up. And then we've got the fog distance. So this is how thick the fog is going to be. And for this, we're probably going to use about, I don't know, we want it quite thin here. This is just general fog. We just want a tiny little bit of fog throughout the room. So we're going to put that on at 100,000. And then we've got various things here which are going to add time to rendering. So we don't want scatter GI on. That's going to end up, adding time and adding noise. Scatter bounces can stay as it is. Fog height. So this is, in this case, because there's no box, this is how high up you want the fog to go. So I'm going to say 6 meters. Like basically, let's just see, how tall is this? Yeah. Okay, this is how high. So fog height is how high you would like the fog to go. If it's just set at 100, that's just way down here. So we're going to set this up at 7 meters, so that'll take it up above the room by a meter. Subdivs, we want to really ramp that up, so I'm just going to put it at 200. Subdivs is 8 is not really enough to get it so that it's not noisy. So the step size here, we can push this up. If you look here, step size determines the size of one step through the volume. Smaller steps produce more accurate results but are slower to render. In general, dense volumes require smaller step sizes than more transparent volumes. In practice, step sizes that are 2 to 3 times smaller than the fog distance parameter work well. Well, I'm not going to put it at, I'm not going to put it 2 to 3 times smaller than 100,000. But I'm going to put this at 4 centimeters. And at least, we could come up to 400. Let's try 300. Okay, I don't want to come massive on that. I might drop this down to 30 or 40 afterwards. Texture samples is fine. We're just going to leave this as is. We're going to leave these ones as they are. Okay, we're going to come down and we're going to turn off effect shadows and we're going to turn off effect GI because we don't need these. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, these are just going to add in a lot of time to your rendering. Okay. Now, a good tutorial, if you want a written tutorial on fog, a good tutorial is just go to the boundary, fog tutorial, and you'll get this one here. This is the one from Peter Guthrie, and he'll give you some good tips here on fog and what to do and how to get it looking awesome like this. So this is a good place to go. And when I was originally learning fog, that was where I looked, so I could discover, like, how do I do this? How do I get this looking nice? Okay. Alright, so we have this in here now. I'm going to lower this down. I've still got this on progressive rendering, but I'm going to come down here to 2000. There's no reason to be up at 6000. So let's put it down to 2000. And I can leave that as is. That's good. Okay, let's see how this goes. Just make sure this viewport's selected. So you can see the amount of fog we've got here. There's just loads of it. And obviously it's being hit by all this light, all these candle flames, and it's making the whole thing very, very yellow. Now you'd find if you leave this to render, this would gradually become less and less and less thick. Let's just stop this. I've got no render passes on here. And what I'm going to do is add in an extra 0 here. So that's 1 million. And let's just add in environment. Atmosphere, isn't it? V-ray atmosphere. Okay. And let's render this again. Now you see this is all blown out here. Okay, so this is closer to what I'm after. And if I click here on the atmosphere, you can see there's atmosphere going on. Okay, if I stop this here, I'm going to turn on my history. And let's just save this out. And then what we're going to do is I just want to see the difference if we assign this to a box. Top view, Z, we need a box. Make it bigger than this space. Make it height 6500, just a bit taller. And right click, object properties. Like right now if I render, I'm going to get this box. I'm going to see the back of this box. So I have to say renderable, turn that off, click OK. And then this I like to just call fogbox. And then either click 8 or come in here to the environment, open that up, go back to your environment fog, click on that. Down here you've got gizmos, say add, and add that and make sure it comes in there and not something else. Okay, and now if we click here, just press F9. The only difference I'm expecting is in this back window. And that's because the light isn't going through a whole bunch of fog before it hits it. And again, if we come atmosphere, we can see the atmosphere is being built there. Alright, let's stop this. So you can clearly see, okay, we save this out. Call this one A, this one B. So this one on the left is with the fog box and on the right is without it. So it's just all the light is going through a lot more fog. It's not just the fog in the room, it's the fog outside the room. And so we're getting a lot more of this color coming in from the outside light. Alright, and you can see how it affects the refraction. So you just use this fog box at your discretion depending on what effect you're trying to have. Alright. Let's turn this off. Now, we're going to put some more fog boxes in here. And we're going to do another fog, so we're going to go top view. So, just take this fog and make sure, come down here, and just check how it's blending. And this is multiply by density. And this one here is on overlap. So I'll show you the difference between these, but we'll change this down to blend. So what we're going to do is get some more boxes, get another box. We're going to put it right here. And again, just check on this, make sure the height is set at 6.5. And this is for our light beams to come through as they come in through the roof. And I'm going to call this fogbox 2. And put an edit poly on this. Go top view. Just select, just come here into subobject mode element. Click on this guy and just shift and drag. I need it down here where I'm going to have some more beams coming in through here. Clone to element is good because I want it to stay part of the same edit poly. I'm going to go into vertex mode. I don't need it over the whole space, I just need it here where the beams come down. Alright. So this is fogbox 2. I'm just going to collapse this to an edit poly. Just right click so I don't forget. Object properties and turn off renderable. Okay, and then we're going to just hide these two. And just press F3. Okay, so we've got the roof like this. There's the roof. So the roof is just a plane right now. And this edit poly just changes the size of it. And I just had it that way so I could, you know, when I created this, I went into object properties and I turned on backface cull. And that was so I could see through and into the space. I don't need that one anymore. I'm just going to come here onto the border, select the border, and just shift and drag this up. And then right click and cap. Okay. And let's just check the material on here. We never see this in the actual render. So the material doesn't really matter. I think it's probably just a flat gray, nothing. Yeah, exactly. It's just that. It's got no reflection, no nothing. And we can leave it at this unless we want it to have like an effect in the scene. Now I'm actually going to pull this down a bit. By effect, I mean like, are we going to see this reflected on the floor? Are we going to see it reflected into the sides? Like even if it's blurry, so that sort of effect. But for now I don't think it really matters. So I'm going to come out of isolation mode, go into top view, press F3, and this is just so I can see where these walls are. So I'm just going to come into edge mode, just come across here, and I'm just going to connect, and I'm going to connect to, and I'm going to click OK, and actually these magically are on almost the right position. This one here, just move this up a little. Okay, and then just select both of these again, I'm going to chamfer them. And I want it something like that. Actually, these ones here, I'm going to select those and I'm just going to press R so I can scale it. Now, note that I have this on use. Okay, I need to have it here. The reason it's still working, it's in the correct place, is I have no idea. Oh, here we go. Select a non-uniform scale. Make sure this is on the right one, otherwise it's going to cause problems. Anyway, make sure this is in the middle, and then just open these up slightly. Alright, and then just select here again, and get these end ones that I missed. Just do Alt-W just so it's easier to see. I don't need that open right now. Okay, and I would like 3 shafts. So I do this, and pull them together a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chamfer these afterwards. And so these are quite large actually. These are like 600 by 600. This is 343, so that's going to be 343 from there to the middle to the original chamfer. So it's double that. Okay, I'm going to press Alt Q to isolate, and I'm going to go into polygon mode. And let's just select these ones, and select these ones, and select the same on the other side. Oops, Control Z, and then just press bridge. And now I've got holes in the roof. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually put some lights here and angle them in. This is what I was talking about, putting some lights. So just come into light, V-ray light, and something like this. And let's put you here. Go front view. It's down there right now. I need it above. And then just press E so I can rotate this. And rotate it up like that. And let's change the color of this. Let's go temperature, and let's change this down to 4500. Okay. And by default, this is a multiplier of 30. So let's go top view, and drag this and put it here. And this can be, let's give this a name actually. Let's call it light beams or God rays. God rays 1. And that'll do for the second one. That could be an instance. Now, we're probably going to change this because this is going to have 3 exact rays like that, and I would like them to be, this one to come, more vertical, this one to be slightly more horizontal, and that's slightly more horizontal. So to do that, I imagine I'm going to actually need to have 3 different lights angled slightly differently. But we can have a look, we can do a test, and then we can get onto that afterwards. So right click, unhide all. Goes to my nice, beautiful fog boxes. You can see why I hid them a minute ago. Okay, and then let's just press F9 and see what we have. Oh, hang on. I haven't even made the fog. What am I doing? Okay, we have this. Alright, press 8. So, environment. We come down, add V-ray environment fog. Let's give these names. Let's call the first one. V-ray environment fog. Main. V-ray environment fog. God rays. Okay. And actually, what we're going to do is we're going to copy these settings and we're going to just adjust them slightly. Basically, the difference is going to be this fog distance. So come down to the fog rays here, and let's try 10,000. And we're going to go, fog height doesn't matter because we're going to assign it to this box. Let's put this up at 300. Actually, let's put this at 300 too. And step size 300. Okay, let's do that. Let's turn off Effect GI, Effect Shadows, and let's add a gizmo and add this. Okay, and then let's use all lights, turn that off. Let's add these lights up here. Okay. Alright, so we're all set. See how it goes. Well, for now we've got no God rays, so let's turn this off. Do that. And let's turn off this first one here. So now we're into troubleshooting. Okay, turn that off. So let's just see. Make sure turning off these works. It should. Yeah, it works. Okay, good. And we can see what our light is doing. So what we're going to do, and what you're going to find you're going to need to do for these God rays is we're going to need these. We're going to need to come into options. There we go, directional. So you have this direction, and this is between 1 and 0. And so 0 means that it's going to become flat, so it's going to cast out light in all directions from this. And as you go all the way to 1, it's going to cast a beam straight down. So 1's probably too much. And these are instances, but 1 is too much. So if I come here and render now, you see, well, we've got beams for sure. But you see how it's too hard. I mean, this edge isn't perfectly hard, but this edge here is pretty hard. So let's turn that off. And what I'm going to try, instead of going all the way down to 1, is I'm going to try this at 0.8. And just to show you what this has done, because my next thing would be to adjust the brightness. Okay, maybe I need to go to 0.9. Let's try 0.9. 0.9. And then I'm going to adjust the brightness. It's at 30, but what it's doing is it's much brighter now because it's just coming straight down that multiplier. So we're going to put this down at 3, and let's render, see how that goes. Okay, well that's closer to what we're after. But again, you know, it's not sharp enough on the God rays. So let's try 0.95. You can see how much of a difference it makes, 0.9 to 1. And let's drop this down to 1. And we're getting there. But we've only got 2. And I really want 3. And I want them angled. So if we look at the atmosphere, this is what we're getting. We can see the third one up here. So let's stop this. So we're going to do exactly what I said. Let's take this guy. Let's take both of these. Let's press F3. So, well, we can't see with the fog box there. Okay, let's grab the ceiling. It's this orange guy here. Okay, top view. And width. Oops. Length. Here we go. Actually, let's do select all. Unhide. Okay, and let's grab the walls too. Okay, now let's go. Let's see what we're doing. So we can see here. So the first one, yeah, okay. So because the beams are coming in at an angle like that, then we can really just take these and shift these over a little. Let's just grab the from the end as well, just so it likes me more. Okay, like that. Then let's take this, and let's go front view. And like that. And then what we want. So basically we're just getting these into the right position. Let's take this over here. Make them instances and just rotate these a bit more. Another 10 degrees. Oops. And then I'm pressing shift and left clicking and dragging. Get it over here, instance. I'm pressing E to go into rotation. And then do another 10. So let's actually come back 5 on this. And let's go back there and then just do 5. Okay. We can always adjust these, make them 10 and 10. And then let's just press 8. Check our fog box because I've added in extra lights. See, it's just God rays 1, God rays 2. So I've got to add. And unfortunately, I have to pick these. So it's going to be God rays 3, God rays, oops, add God rays 4, add God rays 5, add God rays 6. Now we can try turning this off. I don't know how much of an effect this has. Sometimes it doesn't seem to work at all. So this is a bit too open here, like we've got 1 beam and I want 3. So we're going to have to do something about that. Stop this. Top view. Edit, select instances. Get this ceiling again, get this. Okay. Let's grab the ceiling first. Okay. Pull these together. Let's pull all of these together. Okay, let's take these lights, bring them down. Okay, we'll see how this is going. And I can always make these, wider if I want to get thicker God rays in, so it's entirely up to you, But what I'm going to be after is I'm after the 3 at the back here, and then I'm after these ones in the front here, not interfering too much with those. Okay, so we have these still coming in, but again, I need to do it even. Well, I'm going to actually just drag them closer. Let me just do that. Oh God. Lights. No. Well, okay. Let's just grab these and grab this. And go top view. And vertex mode. Just drag these over. Drag these over. I'm actually going to drag these. I'm going to actually move these, put these slightly. Just do something like that. Just offset them slightly. And there we go. Just press F3. You don't want to be lining them up not with the holes. And that's it. Okay, front view. Out of isolation. Back into the window, F9. Alright, well, it's getting a work in progress, huh? Stop. I've got this light. We'll put this up at 9.8. Let's open this up. Problem is, I'm just not being aggressive enough. F3. Top. Because not only is this how close this is together, it's also the angle of the lights coming in. It's all having an effect. So even though these are like close, the lights are pushing them further apart. Let's bring this down. Okay. And I'm also thinking these should be angled. Go E and then here, get this from selection center to individually. Just angle that another 5. And this has to be angled another 10. I might undo those in a minute, because they might just push the light off. So it's interesting how you can see exactly what's happening here with the lights. Okay, let's do undo this, undo that. Just multiply 0.1, just have these down to 0.5. The beams have almost the same brightness at the top as the bottom. And for this I don't want that. I want it to be graduating. I want it to go from being thick at the top to much less at the bottom. So to do that, this 0.98 isn't working. Let's try 0.95 again. And I'm not sure what's happened to my God rays here in the front. Can I see those in atmosphere? No, nothing. Okay. So what's happening to those? Let's just check, go into 8. God rays, just make sure all those lights are on. No, I undid somehow and got rid of some. 146. 789. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Stop this. And I'm going to adjust this back to 0.96. Alright. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I may adjust it again later. But that gives us our fog. Now, one more thing with the fog is if you look, see how it's really hitting the floor there? And that's too bright. So what I want to do with that is take these lights and take this floor, right? And this floor is just called floor. So just go back to the light and just go exclude. And you can just type in floor. And put that over there, click OK. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so let's get the other fog box back on, other fog back on, press 8. Main, active. And this wants all lights. So we can either leave that on or turn it off. And let's add this HDRI and see how well it works with an HDRI. I'm going to press escape. I just want to see how well this is working with an HDRI. Because this is V-Ray Next, I've not used it before. I'm going to remove that, use all lights off. Let's turn the other one off. So basically I'm saying don't use all lights, I'm telling it not to use any lights. So we're going to see if it renders without using any lights. Okay, good. So it's rendering without any lights as it's supposed to. And then if I come here and I select, it is active, and I add the HDRI. So what I'm going to do is have this one for using, not using all lights, but using just the HDRI, and the other lights, the God ray is just coming in like that. Okay. Okay, great. And that's it. So I'm just going to add various items here. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add some render elements, and then we're going to need to do some post-production, and then we're done.